In terms of Genshin Impact tips, we have Genshin Impact tips. This is going to be a video on some tips and tricks, especially towards new players. This isn't going to be in any particular order. Yeah, I'm just going to be all over the place. Anyway, let's get into it. So my first tip is using the interactive map. I'm sure a lot of us already know of this already, but there's probably a few of us that don't. So what is this? Basically, it's the Genshin map, if you couldn't tell already, but enhanced. You can find anything, literally anything you want on this map. If you are looking for any oculusisms, like dendro oculuses, because these are ass to locate, go ahead and just click it over here and boom, there's a shit ton. And not only that, you can find chests, enemies, materials. Like, let's just say hypothetically we select it all on here. All right, let's just select every single damn thing on this map. Okay, look at that. If you wanted to fully 100% Genshin, this is what you need to do, right? This is what you need to do. Yeah, anyway, it's super useful to find stuff. Going into Natlan, they are doing a thing where it'll be easier to find like flowers and stuff. Although that is a good addition, and you don't have to use the interactive map exactly to use that. Finding the other stuff is more useful on this map. If you're going to farm enemies, the game doesn't like telling you every single one, but on the map here, on the interactive map, it tells you where every single one of those guys are. I'll have a link in the description for this. It is definitely the most useful thing ever for Genshin, probably. For my next tip, it's actually the Serenity Teapot. This is something a lot of players really sleep on. Sure, it could be tedious and a long grind to actually get it up and running, but like, I feel like it's worth it. Let me show you why I think that. So one of the things that I think is really worth it in the Serenity Teapot is being able to plant stuff for characters. Say you need some kind of plant, so we could put these little, I reached my finishing placement, man, what the hell? Get this tree out here. Get the goddamn tree out here. Let me just, okay. What? You know what, Cloud Retainer? Get the hell out of here. We just put a plant down there, okay? We click save, and then we can play. All right, we'll put this one down. Maybe I have seeds for this one. Maybe, just maybe I have seeds for this one. There we go. There's all my seeds. Anyway, you can get seeds, which, by the way, you have to be able to do the Madam Ping quest. Just go to her. She should have a quest for you, and you'll be able to get this gadget, which allows you to go around grabbing seeds for plants. And then you can go ahead and plant said seeds. In this, it's gonna take a bit to grow, but it's worth it. Having these in your teapot can come in clutch. The other thing that makes the teapot amazing is the Realm Depot. You'll be able to buy many useful stuff. You could buy XP, you could buy ore, you could buy Mora, artifact XP, and then you can also buy transient resin, which works the same way as fragile resin. It's very useful stuff that you could get. It's awesome. So the last thing that I think makes this teapot worth it, in my opinion, are these outdoor sets, or these furnishing sets rather. So if you go into the crafting menu and then click the eyes on these sets right here, you'll see at the bottom of these pictures shows characters that favor these certain sets. Now, what does this mean? When you make the set and place it in your teapot and invite these characters, they will talk to you, giving you 20 Primo Gems each. So, when there's sets with multiple characters, like say this one right here, inviting all these characters to these sets can add up to a lot of Primo Gems at once. So for me, I had 5 characters for this set. I got 100 Primo Gems in total just from this one set. This one right here, 140 Primo Gems. It's absolutely crazy and worth it in my opinion. It does take a bit to get those up and running because it does require a bunch of wood, but I assure you there are easier ways to get it done quickly now. Like here, you can convert your wood now, which is very useful if you have a lot of, you know, useless materials and resources that you don't need. Or you can use a certain gadget which allows you to gather wood a lot easier, which we'll go into more on how to get this a little bit later. So yeah, the teapot in my opinion is heavily slept on, unless I'm just a crazy person who really likes the teapot. My next tip is to do your reputation. In every region, there is a reputation. Doing these will actually reward you with certain things. In Sumeru, for example, I mentioned the gadget that helps you gather wood a lot easier. This is where the gadget resides, in the reputation rewards of Sumeru. Now, I'm only level 3. In my opinion, only get the important stuff. At least what you think is important. Of course, if I wanted to, I can get up to level 8 and get these Dendro Oculus Resonance Stones, which help you locate oculi that you might have forgot to mark down or that you're missing. Or I can get the treasure compasses, which help you locate chests and stuff, but that stuff isn't really that important to me. Now, Sumeru is not the only place that has these useful items. Here in Mondstadt, you can get a thing called NRE. This right here, you can add HP dishes and revival dishes in it. It allows you to just eat on the go. You don't have to open up your inventory or anything to eat food when you have this thing. You just press whatever your gadget button is and you'll be able to consume food right then and there. The other things that you can unlock here is, of course, treasure compasses and the portable waypoints, which is exactly what it sounds. You can craft these waypoints, put them wherever you want. They're great. In Fontaine, you can get this gadget called a Crystalfly Trap, which is exactly how it sounds. Gather them a lot better, which honestly, I should work towards that because that sounds pretty awesome. But out of all the regions, the Liwa region reputation is by far the most important one in my opinion, and that is because at level 3, you can unlock this blueprint for condensed resin. Now, what is condensed resin? You go to a crafting bench and you can convert your current resin into condensed resin. It takes 40 resin to make 1. Now, what is the benefits of this? Say you're too lazy to actually play the game or do anything, so condense it down, save it for tomorrow. Now, the other thing that's really good about them, just like I said, it costs 40 resin to make 1, and what that means is that it makes your farming a lot faster. Say like you're farming artifacts. Instead of just spending 20 resin each time, each run, you can spend a condensed resin, you can get double rewards, which allows quicker farming. So yeah, that's why reputation is pretty important. You can get a lot of useful items out of them. My next tip is to mark your map. There are a lot of reasons why you should mark your map. One, if you're going around grabbing oculi, it is important to mark it down so you can use as a reference on the interactive map. Now, the other reason to mark down your map is for good locations to farm stuff. For example, this one over here in Liwa, I have this area marked down for some useful ore. As you can see here, a lot of rocks. I love rocks. Other good places for like crystal fly. I have a personal favorite location for crystal fly over here in Fontaine. I have this marked down for whenever I need it. You get the idea. Marking down areas is super useful. My next tip is upgrading your stamina. Stamina in this game is really important, especially for exploration and characters that do a lot of charge attacks and stuff like that. You want to have a large abundance of that so that you don't run out quickly. As you know of right now, upgrading Liwa and Mondstadt statues will give you stamina. But if you're anything like me, you still don't quite have the max stamina. But don't worry. Moving forward in Natlan, they have changed it to where every statue will give you stamina. So you don't really have an excuse now to upgrading your stamina. The max stamina is 240. Be sure to go around, grab your statues, and get your stamina upgraded. If you don't have your stamina upgraded, you are actually throwing. Now, this next tip is for character building. What I mean exactly is don't overinvest into one character. And now what I mean by that is always farming for that character. Like artifacts is probably something that you're always doing for a character. Or you're still constantly trying to get their talents up. Although that will pay off and will be good, especially if it's your favorite character. But I suggest spreading that effort to supports and other characters that'll be useful to that one character you're trying to build. And that way you'll end up with a whole good team rather than just one good character. You can't be over here with a level 90 character, max everything, and then have a level 60 character not doing shit. You need to spread that effort and grinding to other characters instead of just one. This is a mistake that I've done a lot, but trust me, it's worth it. Alright, your character won't be that strong without the help of other characters. My next tip is about food. For a lot of players, food probably doesn't matter, but for a lot of other players, food is really handy. Revive food, healing food, stamina food, buff food like attack, crit. It's super useful. And at the end of the day, you want as much food as possible. You want to just stock up, especially if you're gonna go into hibernation, you want as much food. Okay. The best way to stock up on food is just to maintain all the resources basically. And And what I mean by that, go to general goods stores, cooking stores, make sure you buy a lot of the useful ingredients. And then that way you can slowly stock up on resources and stuff to cook. Making food is helpful. It really is. The next tip is about resin again, and that is managing your resin efficiently. What I mean by that is you really got to look at your own account and see what you need the most. If you're low on Mora, you got to use your resin to farm Mora. You got to go around, go to gold ley lines and start farming Mora, because Mora is needed for everything. If you need XP, go farm XP instead. You need to be on track of these things. The one thing is to not waste your resin too much on artifacts, because artifacts are just stupid. It's RNG. All right, you're not guaranteed to get any good artifacts. Save artifact grinding for last. And if you're really serious about being efficient with your account, don't let it cap for too long. Just like I mentioned earlier with condensed resin, if you don't feel like using it right away, just condense it and save it for later. That way, the resin can refuel again. One thing you don't want to do is use Primo Gems for resin. That you might regret. And yes, I know, you can laugh at me. I have 72 Primo Gems, okay? Laugh. I know you're typing up a comment right now, okay? Be sure to manage your resin efficiently. Again, it just depends on where you're at with your account. Be sure to use it efficiently. Don't waste it on stupid things you don't need. My next tip is talking to secret vendors. Chewe here in Port Ormos offers some rocks. She has some rocks that you can get. It's super useful. Say you go around grabbing all these rocks on your map and you don't have any more to get. Come to her and she has some rocks for you. Very cool. Very nice. Here in Liwa, you got Shito. Guess what Blood has here? All right, guess what Blood has here? More rocks? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wow. And then just down the road here in Liwa as well, you have Chengshun. She has some other stuff. She's got rocks. She got sugar, she got potatoes, she got cheese. Goddamn cheese. It's amazing. Over here in Fontaine, you have Eugenie. She offers some fruits, some flowers. Oh my god. Awesome. Over here in Mondstadt, you can see a little gremlin running around. Let me catch up to her. Clarice. She has some awesome plants. You got snapdragons, you got mints, you got wolf hooks, valberries, mushrooms. If you want to know where that is, you know, it's just on this road somewhere. Obviously, that is not all the secret NPCs. There are plenty more. I'm sure there are guides and videos on the internet. But yeah, they really come in clutch if you need some extra items. Do you like rewards and a lot of other stuff? I do too. And you know what's great? Region vendors that really help with that sort of thing. So for example, at the Fontaine fountain here, you can get so many goddamn rewards. You got fragile resin, you got wishes, okay, you got talent books, you got weapon stuff, you got crowns, you got keys for depths of shrines, you got intertwined fates, you got all kinds of rewards you can get. How you get all these is by exploring, playing the game, and you'll get these sigils to put in them. Basically what this tip is to actually pay attention to these vendors and reward systems. They can help greatly. Fontaine's not the only one that has this. There's also this one in Inazuma. Works the same way as the Fontaine one. You get sigils and you can get plenty of juicy rewards. There's also this girl in the chasm. Works pretty similarly to the trees and statues. There's not as many ranks, but you can still get the same type of rewards. We also have one here in Dragonspine, which is one of the earlier locations you can get to. Same as the other ones. Again, not as many ranks, but still juicy rewards in it. Then you have the giant onion in Sumeru, which is locked behind a very lengthy Aranara quest, which is really up to you if you want to do that. Just like the others, lots of levels, lots of rewards. Juicy. If you want to get some juicy rewards, my best tip is to explore the map, and boom, you're gonna get really rewarded for it. So there's no doubt in my mind that there's gonna be a similar thing like this in Natlan, so be on the lookout for that. My next tip is using the Parametric Transformer, which you can get from Lon's quest here in Liwa. She'll reward you with that. Now, what is this? When you place it down, you can use any kind of material you want. Let's put in some chaos gears. Let's just go ahead and just put in the max, right? Now, what happens? All right, we gotta do elemental attacks, okay? We just gotta go ham. It's definitely better with a catalyst character, I'll be honest. But afterwards, after it's complete, you will get materials. Now, from what I know, these are pretty random, but in any case, it's useful. This is nice, even if it is random. And it does have a weekly reset, all right? You can only use it once a week. After defeating a boss, there's a little trick that you can do to make your farming a bit easier. Once the boss respawns, it won't immediately respawn right in front of you, of course. So typically, you gotta leave to a different waypoint and come back for it to respawn. But sometimes the boss is in an area where you kind of have to go a certain distance to reach it. In my case, I have to go to this waypoint and just glide over here, which is, nah, I don't want to be doing all that. So a nice trick to do, go to the events tab. All right, go to test run, click on one of the characters. All right, just go ahead and test run them. All right, if you want, quickly admire the character that you lost 50-50 to and that you can't get. But afterwards, go ahead and leave. And then boom, there it is. Easy. I don't have to walk anywhere. He's just right here. My next tip is using characters with super useful passives. For example, here you got Toma, which states when you fish in Inazuma, there's a 20% chance of getting a double catch. Kiara here, when she is in your party, animals that give you fowl, raw meat, or chilled meat will not get scared. Kale and Amber, they decrease your stamina consumption when gliding. Sayu won't startle crystal flies and certain other animals when near them. Characters like Goro can display the location of nearby resources. You get the idea. There's a lot of characters that have very useful passives that you should probably remember to take benefit of. Now it's time for some swimming lessons. Of course, if you're in Fontaine, stamina doesn't matter whatsoever. Okay, you have your own unique stamina bar, so you're not worried about drowning or anything. But what about in areas that's not Fontaine? In other places, use your regular ass stamina bar, which is just like I said, it's ass. Consumes your stamina, obviously, but there is a trick to use it more efficiently. So let me go ahead and regain my stamina real quick before Zhongli here dies. Alright, we're good. So when you press your shift button, or whatever your sprint button is, in my case it's going to be shift or right click, okay, we will want to press the forward button. Kind of just press it over and over. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, we're going to press the sprint button. Now we're going to just spam the forward button. Okay, I did hear it's better to pace it out rather than spam it as fast as you can. But yeah, less stamina. All right, so you can go farther, you can go anywhere. A lot easier. Of course, it's still gonna use your stamina, so you gotta be careful. Okay, you gotta be careful, or else you're just gonna. Or you can just use Farina, okay, and you're good to go. You good. You don't need shit. You don't need shit at all. You can use Arlecchino too. All you gotta do is do her charge attack, hold it, and voila. You can go around. Sure, it's going to use stamina as well, and then you might... That, or you can use the ice bridge way, alright? Okay, so what that consists of is like go on boom, alright? Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, do a little... No! That, or you can use Beto, which, if you remember correctly, there are some useful passives. Beta has the passive of decreasing stamina consumption when swimming by 20%. Any of them work. Alright, just like, Alright, those are the swimming tricks, okay? Never swim normally. Now, one of my favorite things to do when I'm anticipating a character is to actually prepare for them. And what I mean by that is their materials, their weapons, their artifacts, everything I need to at least get them going when their banner is out. Raiden Shogun is getting a rerun here soon. Go online, look up her materials. It'll give you an accurate amount. Of course, you don't need every single thing. At most, you do want to guarantee everything to get the character to 90 and their talents at least to 7 or 8. In my opinion, that is the best balance. Okay, so go ahead, pre-farm all this. You can locate their flowers and stuff with the interactive map. It's just the best way, in my opinion. Again, just come over here to Traveler GG, look up your character, and see what you want. Let's say Chlorinde is getting a rerun soon. Let me look at what she needs. I need starfishies. I need 46 of the seahorse thing. Okay, I'll go ahead and do all that. But sadly, as of this video, there's no known rerun date. So I'm just gonna wait for a little bit. But yeah, that is the best way, in my opinion, to build characters, is preparing for them. My next tip is saving your Starglitter and Stardust. Now, for Starglitter specifically, of course, buying wishes is awesome. It is. But hear me out. If you save up, you can buy a 4-star that you might not have. Now, as for other things, like you can see here, there are weapons. In my opinion, these weapons in particular are ass mayonnaise, okay? But you'll see other weapons here called Blacklift weapons, okay? Those will offer you some crit damage. Those are very good 4-star weapons. So saving your Starglitter up for those weapons or characters can be super beneficial to your account. As for Stardust, however, there will be monthly wishes. They cost 75 for one wish, and there's 5 each month. Getting those every month is super important. So you don't want to have as little as I have now. You want to save up to where you're able to get those every refresh. Now, I'm not trying to have many character building tips on here, but if I had to have one, it's to build Bennett. Bennett, in my opinion, is like one of the characters that is a must build. He's a healer and a buffer. Without Bennett, who are you? What are you? Build this guy and you'll immediately start doing more damage. And you got a healer on your side, so you don't have to always use food or anything or statues. The next tip is foddering artifacts, okay? Unless the artifact is absolutely dog shit and unusable most of the time, then you can fodder those artifacts into other artifacts. But, in my opinion, if the artifact is half decent, you just want to save it. You want to save it and then you can use it on another character. In my opinion, the more artifacts, the merrier. Especially for the Imaginarium Theater game mode, where you pretty much have to have artifact sets for every character. As many characters as possible. Having many artifacts will be super beneficial. Another problem with foddering is if you see an artifact, like a similar artifact that has the potential to be better than the current artifact you're using, and you want to fodder it into that, there's a good chance that you get super unlucky and that artifact ends up worse. You don't want to do that, in my opinion. So it's best to just leave them be. Especially in Natlan, you can use upgraded artifacts to make elixirs, which then helps you create an artifact. You'll be able to choose its main stats, substats. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Don't fodder artifacts. My next tip is 3-star weapons. For a lot of us, we are free to play. We won't have the best of the best weapons. But let me introduce you to some cracked 3-star weapons. Firstly, we got a sword called Harbinger of Dawn. Of course, it being a 3-star weapon, its base attack is going to be a lot lower, but it can offer some crit damage. Okay, so if you don't have a crit sword, you got Harbinger of Dawn here. For pole arms, right, if you have an HP scaler, there's a black tassel. If you want some crit though, you got the white tassel. What about a Catalyst character? If it's a support character, you can use Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. This thing is cracked because of its passive. It'll increase the next character's attack by 48%. That is if you have a rank 5. If you do want crit, you got Twin Nephrite, which has crit rate. What about a bow character? You have a crit rate bow. Then you also have Sharpshooter's Oath, which is a crit damage bow. What about claymores? They're ass. For the other weapons though, don't be afraid to use them. They can really come in handy. I love my Harbinger of Dawn. This thing got me through a lot. Don't sleep on these things. And for my last tip, it's patience. This game isn't a competition. There's no PvP. You don't have to worry about anything else. Don't be pressured into doing anything. It's a single player game. Of course, if you do feel competitive, I'll just have to let you know you can't be as good as me. I'm the GOAT. That's a lie. I'm actually trash and my account is trash. I'm just some guy giving you some tips to make you better. Patience is key to this game. Play at your own pace. Be happy. Have fun. Don't be forced into doing anything you don't want to. Do what you do. That's the best tip of this entire video. Anyway, I hope this video was super useful. If there are tips that you do know of that I didn't state in the video, be sure to comment that. Let other people know. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I hope this video was useful. May your Genshin Impact journey be a splendid one. Take care, Chad Muffins. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Ah!